You're listening to episode number 2 with guest Jennifer Cassetta. Not only will she help you protect yourself, but she'll help you look gorgeous in the process. Today's show.
Welcome to the Life's Necessities and Luxuries radio show. Today our host, Dawn Marie Mutell, your life's commodities broker, will bring you fashion, beauty tips, business acumen, teach you where to find the life's greatest necessities and the finest luxuries. Now, here's Dawn Marie.
Hey there, it's Dawn Marie here. Welcome to today's show. Thank you for joining us today. And today I am very excited. I have a super special guest here. As you may already know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And you may be wondering what is considered sexual violence. Well, it's a broad term, and it includes rape, incest, child sexual abuse, intimate partner violence, sexual exploitation, human trafficking, unwanted sexual contact, sexual harassment, exposure, and voyeurism. And I've been mugged a couple times when I lived in New York, and I've also been punched by a couple of homeless men as I walked through the streets of Manhattan. Although that's not considered sexual assault, it's still an assault no matter what. And I thought it's really time to learn how to really defend ourselves, because I don't want others to go through what I've gone through. So I heard Jennifer talk on the Fat Burning Man show with Abel James and knew immediately that I wanted her on the show so that she could teach you gals and guys out there how to protect yourself from harm and look great in the process. Jennifer is a featured expert on ABC's reality weight loss show, My Diet is Better Than Yours. She's a clinical nutritionist, personal trainer, and third-degree black belt in Hap-Ki-Do. Jennifer has made appearances on The Today Show, The Doctors, Rachel Ray, and contributes to healthy publications such as Women's Health, Fitness, Shape Magazine, and The Huffington Post. She's a keynote speaker at colleges around the country spreading the word of wellness, empowerment, and safety. And now, here's Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, how are you doing today?
Hi, Dawn Marie. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know you've got a crazy schedule with everything going on, and I'm really honored that you're here. I'm so stoked that you're here because I've heard the statistics before, but those of you who haven't, I just want to share these sexual assault statistics with our listeners who may not be aware that, according to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls will experience a sexual assault before the age of 18. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men will be raped at some point in their lives. A majority of women who reported being raped experienced their rape before the age of 25, and 42.2% experienced their first rape before the age of 18. And more than 25% of male victims reported their first rape when they were 10 years of age or younger. I mean, I find these statistics staggering, and I'd love to stop the madness. And I feel the only way we can do this is if we really learn how to truly defend ourselves. With that in mind, Jennifer, can you share some tips on how a man or woman can take matters into their own hands to protect themselves if they feel they're being stalked or possibly about to be attacked?
Sure, Dawn Marie. First, I just want to comment on those statistics, how terrible and disgusting they really are when you really kind of see them in print and listen to them and take that and process that. 1 in 4 women, that's think about how many girlfriends you have, and that 1 in 4 of those are most likely a victim of a sexual assault in their lifetime. It's mind-blowing. And exactly what you said, we can take matters into our own hands. However, I just want to make sure that we're all clear that in no way what we're doing by empowering women is also victim blaming. We're not victim blaming here. If this has happened to you in the past, or if it's especially happened at a young age and you're defenseless, it's never your fault that there's some crazy animal that wanted to hurt you and has hurt you. So I'm sorry if that's ever happened to you. And going forward, here are some tips on how to ever avoid that, or how to teach your daughters and sons to protect themselves if they are ever in a dangerous situation. Okay. So I always start with the ABCs of self-defense when I'm teaching my self-defense classes. A stands for awareness, and really what that means, you have to be aware with all your senses. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to where you are when you're out on the street, in your car, or traveling to and from places. That means not being on your cell phone and not having headphones in your ears. And how many of us really, walk with our cell phones out all the time?
Absolutely. I mean, everywhere you go, everyone's plugged in somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just one takeaway right now. If you could just, next time you're out, put your cell phone away and really pay attention. And teach the teenagers out there that too, because it's so prevalent in that age range. B stands for boundaries, so your physical boundaries. Think of your body and in space. So for example, if you feel like someone might be following you when you're in a parking garage, try and see if you can get in your car and lock the door behind you. That would be a physical boundary working for you. Or, trapping yourself in an elevator with somebody who you kind of had a feeling like, maybe I shouldn't get in that elevator, but you did anyway, and the doors closed behind you. That's an example of a physical boundary working against you. So those are just kind of, besides just being aware when you're out there, now be aware of your body in space in relation to other things around you. It's just another level of awareness. And then C, this is my favorite part, is C stands for communication, and they say 55% of communication is actually body language, and this makes perfect sense in the safety and self-defense arena, because if you are giving off positive and confident body language, even if you're faking it, even if you're scared and you fake it till you make it anyway, which is another tip I give, head up, making eye contact, shoulders back, chest up, you will give off confidence, and predators are not looking for confident people. They're looking for vulnerable and weak targets. There's a few tips to start with.
That's awesome. That really does make the difference. I see that you've written a number of books and DVDs on these topics, and stilettos and self-defense, and defensive tactics, improvised weapons, and I love this one. Hear Me Roar, How to Defend Your Mind, Body, and Heart Against People Who Suck.
Yeah,
I should come up with that title. I love it.
So that's actually a book. The other three are DVDs, but the Hear Me Roar is a book that I collaborated with another health coach that I know who actually was a victim of sexual violence and sexual assault. So she shared her story, and I came up with the personal safety tips and everything. And we had Hear Me Roar because I had given a workshop, like a live presentation, and I called it Hear Me Roar because I just was like, rah, like wanted, anytime I teach these live presentations, I want women to just like leave literally just roaring and empowered. The tagline was the idea of a writing coach that we used. We went to her workshop up in Portland, and she was so fabulous. And at first we were like, really? Could that work? And then it just kind of, the more we said it and laughed, the better it was. So yeah.
I love that. And then you mentioned, you have this quote that you say, unleash your inner she-beast. Can you talk about that a little bit?
For sure. So one night, it was early on in my martial arts training, and I was living on 15th Street between 1st and 2nd, and I was coming home late night from a party, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't remember, and I let the taxi drop me off at the corner instead of in front of my building. And as I was walking to my apartment, of course, what do? I check to see if I have a voicemail, and I start listening to my voicemail, and up behind me basically I was grabbed by a guy, a stranger on the street. He came up my dress, grabbed everything up there, and I turned. I realized what happened because, as you shared, you've been in situations like that before. I'm sure it's just a split second of utter panic and what is going on, And once I realized what was going on, I then kind of lurched for him, and I unleashed my inner she-beast. Like, I just went crazy. I was screaming and cursing at him, like, how dare you, I'm going to kill you. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I think it's just like, inner New York.
That's right.
Inner New York rage. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't have to use any of the fancy techniques, Hap-Ki-Do techniques that I was trained in, but I really did develop that she-beast mentality in my martial arts training. Like, I knew it was always there, and that night really proved that. Like, I was able to unleash it. So that's another thing I'll teach in these classes is, like, we all have that ability to protect ourselves, to really unleash this beast inside. We're just not used to doing it, so it's not comfortable. It's not a normal thing, obviously, but it's all there. We have the power.
Tell me, was that, were you a third-degree black belt at this time, or was this something that helped you get to becoming the third-degree black belt?
Yeah, no, it was definitely early in my training, maybe a year probably into it, and it took me 10 years before I tested for my third-degree black belt and before I moved to Los Angeles. So it was 10 years. I was at the dojo almost every single day for 10 years unless I was on vacation somewhere, but I never quit. I was there teaching and training hours and hours a day. It was really, I kind of joke, like I spent as much time as people get like PhDs in, like I got a PhD in martial arts.
And I have 4 of them from the School of Hard Knocks.
Yes, exactly.
I have a question for you. How did you get involved in Hap-Ki-Do? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, it's Hap-Ki-Do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hap-Ki-Do, same thing. I felt like I wanted to take a martial arts class. My father had been doing martial arts for over a decade before that, and I just saw the positive changes in him. When I was very young, he retired from the New York City Police Department. He was a detective. He grew up in the Bronx. He was kind of rough around the edges, and then, to say the least. And then his martial arts training kind of, mellowed him out in a good way. It really balanced him out. So there was still the strong strength side, but then there's also the yin side. So I always admired that, and I was looking to get stronger, both mentally and physically. So I tried a martial arts class at World Martial Arts Center that's now in Brooklyn, but it was in the city at the time, and I just completely fell in love with it and was hooked pretty much right off the bat. So it wasn't like I was looking for Hap-Ki-Do specifically. I just found the right school, the right teachers, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's awesome. How old were you when you first took your first class?
I think I was 22 or 23.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was out of college for a year or two.
I'm sorry. When you do instruction, what would you say is the oldest age person you ever worked with before?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I had clients in their 60s, and there's a couple students. When I was first at the school, there was a woman in her 70s, Gabriella. She recently passed away, but she was training for years and years and years. But we have people, all the way into their 60s and early 70s at the dojo still there in Brooklyn. My father's 76. He's still, he's not going to the dojo as much anymore, but he still practices his forms, does his meditation every morning. There's stuff that you can take with you into your day-to-day life without having to go train at a studio every day.
That's my next question for you is how sometimes you get so tired after working all day. How do you get the inspiration or the motivation to push yourself to stay motivated when you're really too tired to train?
Yeah, well, that's one benefit of martial arts I think that is very unique to martial arts is you're always working towards something. So there's curriculum for every belt level, right? So you start off as a white belt, you're learning curriculum towards your yellow belt. And I feel like that really helps with people because you have a goal. And then, you have the big goal would be one day, to achieve your black belt. But in between them, there's all these mini goals and all these different curriculums. And it keeps you motivated. So when you're like, oh, I'm tired, but I made a commitment. I was going to be there Wednesday and learn this, or take this person's class, or, it's just much more involved than just getting your ass to the gym,
And I think because it is a different form of exercise that it looks like it's a lot more fun than the standard, I'm going to walk on the treadmill kind of an exercise.
I mean, I think so, 100%.
Yeah, it looks like it's really fun.
Yeah.
I used to date a guy who was a martial arts guy, and he taught me things, and I loved it, and I thought it was really great. And I remember when I was younger, my mom, actually the first time I got mugged, I was 11, and it was really a simple little thing, but she wanted me to right away to start taking some classes with the husband of a friend of hers who who was a trainer. I love your quote that you say, dress like a lady and fight like a man. How many times would you say it would take someone to really become fully capable of taking an attacker down?
Well, taking an attacker down, I don't know. It's really about a mindset, and, I would love to believe that someone can take one intensive workshop and have just a few tools. Sometimes it just takes one or two tools to scare an attacker off, not necessarily take them down. Like if you're going to be in a knock them down, drag them out fight, yes, then there is a lot of technique you're going to need to learn. But sometimes attackers are turned off right away just by the fact that you're fighting back or screaming, and doing the chibi thing,
Right, okay.
Sometimes that alone will work, or one shot to the nose, or, again, an attacker is not looking to usually for a confident person who's going to be fighting back and making noise and screaming and attracting attention to the scene.
I love that. Yeah, I know. I think they actually, what you said earlier is that they prey on, the weaker person.
More vulnerable and distracted, yeah.
Right, so that they can actually get away with it and, get through very quickly and run those from me. Yeah. What would you say was one of your toughest challenges, and how did you get through it?
I guess one would be during 9/11, the day of, but more importantly, the months afterward, because that day I did lose my job as well. I was working 3 blocks south of the World Trade Center on Rector Street, and for this lovely couple who had a brand new loft space, and we were promoting events there. It was event space. So I was doing the marketing for them, and so excited, and again, very young, and in one of my first jobs. And that morning, I showed up to work, got off the subway at Wall Street, and all hell had broken loose. So that day I was thrown into a utility closet and a storage closet that I was going to die, kicked out back into the street, covered in ashes and running for my life. Definitely had a lot of scary thoughts that day that I was going to die and this was it. But I'm obviously here, and I made it out that day and lost my job and thought, just basically did a lot of soul searching. So how did I get through it? I took classes like in the next year or two. I basically went to Tony Robbins. I did Landmark Forum. Like I was just looking for, how to improve myself, self-development classes. I really just wanted to find my purpose. And everything that when I kept searching, what I found was what I really wanted to do was teach martial arts, give people the physical, spiritual, mental, emotional benefits that I was getting through martial arts, through physical training, and then later on through nutrition as well when I went back to school. So, so when I hit like low points, I dig into my books, my self-development books. I go take a course. Like I really just I know that it has to come from within, but it can definitely help when you have a coach.
Absolutely. It's nice to have somebody that can give you that push and to really keep you on target. When you went to the Tony Robbins event, did you do the fire walk?
Yes, I did. I loved it.
You brave soul. How was that?
It was awesome. Did you do it?
No, but I haven't seen him live, but I've been studying his books for so many years. Actually, he saved my life once when I was in a really bad automobile accident because of one of the books. When he was taking some race car driving lessons and he spun out of control, and the guy in his head said, look where you want to go. And I was in a tailspin. I was in 2 360s, and I had a park of children on my left-hand side, a row of houses on my right-hand side. I had cars coming up from a service to road and each way onto the highway because it was right off the ramp up the highway. And I just kept thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to get killed today. And then I heard his voice, look where you want to go, from that book. And I turned and I saw the houses, and I ended up parked in someone's driveway between a lamppost and a tree.
No way.
I swear. And it was like, oh my gosh. So I wrote him a letter saying, you saved my life. You literally saved my life. And I remember getting a response. So powerful. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you should get that day. But
I get.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my first car accident, but, I was hit by the drunk driver when I was 22, and that's when I, lost some of that use of my spine and what have you, but when the kid hit me in 2000, that was just like, wow, okay, God has saved me for a number of reasons now, so I feel like this is why He, kept me here to keep doing what I'm doing. But,
amazing.
It really, life is so unpredictable, it really is, and I know I went through 9/11 as well, and it was not to the extent that you went through, but I remember seeing it from the Owl's Head Pier in Brooklyn, and it was where I lived, and I could see the towers burning, and I was just like living in a dream thinking, it can't be real, this can't be real. And for 5 years after that, that whole fear of every time I was in the tunnel or on the train or in the building on the 47th floor, I would think, is today the day? Is it going to happen again? And, it was just a horrible experience, and it does make you do a lot of soul searching. It really does.
Right.
And you find that, you have those moments that flash before your eyes where you're thinking, this is it. It really makes you get down and get to business.
Yeah.
What you're going to do in your life, right?
Yeah, because it's not guaranteed.
Exactly, and it's very sparing and it's very fleeting. So we have to take full control over everything we do and enjoy it as best as we can. And as with fitness also comes nutrition, and I love what you're doing on the show. I've been watching the show, and I think it's been amazing. And so you've created this 21-day meal plan for the show. My diet is better than yours. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, so as a nutritionist, I obviously don't think that just one way of eating is right for every single person. But I had to choose one way of eating. I had to choose one, meal plan or I had to create one diet for the show. So I used the diet that's closest to how I eat, which is pescatarian and gluten-free. However, in real life, my diet is more gluten light, I like to call it. So it's not 100% gluten-free, but I try to avoid wheat as much as possible. So I chose that because, like I said, it's what I believe in. It's what I do for myself. And for so many reasons, the main reason is that it's anti-inflammatory, and I believe that inflammation is rampant in the American diet, the average American diet, and it's literally killing us. And inflammatory foods are, or inflammatory things in foods come from sugar and wheat, trans fats and unhealthy fats, and omega-6 fatty acids, which are found heavily in factory-farmed animals. So I've eliminated all animals except fish, wild-caught seafood specifically, for the last 16 years or so. And I just, I feel better every year as I'm getting older chronologically. Like, I feel like my body's really not. I mean, it is, but it's small changes when I kind of, compare myself to the average 40-year-old, if that makes sense.
I hear you. What would a day, like one day's worth of meals, like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, look like
for me
on this plan or any other plans of yours?
Sure. For the pescatarian gluten-free meal plan, typical day would start with smoothies. There's different kinds, obviously, but I'm just going to give you like an example. Green smoothie, kale, almond milk, vega protein powder, pumpkin seeds to get those more anti-inflammatory food in there. And then I put some anti-inflammatory spices like cinnamon or nutmeg or something like that to give it some flavor as well. That's action-packed smoothie right there. And
that sounds yummy.
It's delicious. I had it this morning. and bananas in there too. Sorry, half a banana. And then
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you make that in advance and store it overnight, or does it have to be made fresh?
Yes, you can, but I always like to make them fresh because when you're breaking down foods, especially like the fatty food, the nuts and the seeds and stuff like that, you lose some of the benefits from it when you blend things like that. Yeah, if you're letting it sit overnight, kind of thing. So same thing as like juicing. You don't want to juice and then have it the next day. You want to try and get it in you as fast as possible.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That's just the question.
That's okay.
I was wondering about that. Awesome.
Yeah, no worries. Lunch can be some type of either egg dish or salad with some kind of lean protein, some sort of protein. The protein can come from vegetable sources like edamame, lentils, chickpeas, maybe some hard cheese. I prefer goat or sheep cheese for flavor. And if it is a salad like that, I'll usually throw an egg in there as well. Or, something like that. And then there's snacks, 2 optional snacks on the meal plans, and those can range from things like slices of apple with almond butter, or baby carrots and hummus, and, I don't know, there's probably 20 different snacks that you can choose from. And then dinner could be a piece of cod or wild salmon baked in the oven or grilled if you have a grill, with either some kind of sweet potato or cauliflower mash, or what else is on there, any kind of broccoli or greens as well. So it's mostly veggies and protein at dinner. Lunch is going to be a big salad or egg dish, and then breakfast is some kind of smoothie. But there's other options too, Greek yogurt parfait, and I don't know, there's just so much. There's 21 days worth of food in the
That sounds awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say you do the egg dish now, do you do things that are poached, or is it, obviously it's not going to be a fried egg, but is it going to be maybe an egg, like I saw you do the muffins, and actually I make those too, which I love that. And I think that that's that you could just pop them and take them and wherever you could heat them up in 2 seconds, and it's just awesome. So I love the egg muffins. Yeah, they're awesome. And then just because you could just change it up so easily with any kind of vegetable, throw in there, and it tastes great. Yeah, and they're very quick and easy to do.
And portable.
And portable, which is really great, definitely. So what is the first thing that you would tell someone who, say, they want to lose 30 pounds? Like, how would you get them to start breaking their bad dietary habits? Because that's like one of the funnest things, I think, is getting people to break that mindset out of their old ways.
Well, I mean, that's just a loaded question because there's so much to do to get to know, why are you 30 pounds overweight in the first place? How did that happen? What, and I really go through an entire health history intake with people when I first start working with them to get to know not just the foods that they eat, but the habits that they have, the patterns that they use. And one thing that I really do is listen to the language they use to describe themselves, or the language that they use. Are they making a lot of excuses of why they can't do X, Y, or Z, which is very, very common. So really the whole first initial intake is listening.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's hard, and I read a lot of books on, breaking habits. I used to be a smoker, and it was so incongruent to what I believed in, which I couldn't understand why I was smoking. But I think it was the stress of everything going on in my life, because I've had a lot of different challenges and was always struggling. And so I felt like that kind of kept me going. But when I quit, it was really tough, but it was also so rewarding when I finally did quit, because I was like, oh, my gosh, I don't know why I even did that for so long,
Right.
And but changing habits, it's really it's something that I've tried to study for so many years, because there's always, and I find that if you don't think of it as a bad habit and you just say, I'm just going to change my ways a little bit, and just start bringing those good things in there. So instead of eating that chocolate bar, maybe you just go have like a cool smoothie that has a lot of great fruits and fruits in there that maybe just taste nice and sweet, where you get the craving with the sugar, but it's actually more beneficial to you. And then you still look great in the process. So it's like twofold, So when you start doing those little things, I think the more you do them, the more your body actually starts to crave it, which is also a very interesting thing, I think.
Right.
Like all of a sudden I'm craving edamame, and I'm thinking, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're also cleaning out your gut. So that's a huge part of my program, too, is like cleaning your gut out of all of the bad bacteria and the yeast and the candida that build up over time from a processed food diet. So once you start to stop feeding those bad bacteria, which they eat, sugar, wheat, etc., they start to die off. And then you have to increase good, healthy bacteria and really get your gut back into balance. And then a lot of the cravings and stuff will go away on their own. So, yeah, that's one of the big strong, safe, and sexy strategies that I have for clients.
Do you have a reference of a probiotic that you particularly like, a brand that you like to use?
For the actual, as a supplement, I use, I have to look in my fridge to get the brand name, but I can see it in my head. But there's any of the refrigerated ones that you would get at Whole Foods or a health food store are usually fine. This is doctor formulated. Yeah, those are really good ones. Or Jarrow is another brand. And also foods that have probiotics in them.
So what are some type of foods that have probiotics? Besides, I know they say live culture yogurt.
Yeah, Greek yogurt is a good one.
Okay. But then they say dairy is bad for you. See, so I get very confused about that.
I know. Quality is quality is going to be the most important there. When it comes to any animal products, quality over quantity. So, for example, if it's milk or yogurt, I'm only going to have organic or grass-fed, right? So my yogurt is grass-fed, and I don't have it every day, but I will have it occasionally, and there's no, I get the plain yogurt, so there's not added sugar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I used to love my yogurt smoothies, and then I found out that dairy was bad, so I stopped doing that. What can I eat? So, you get a lot of those questions from people, and I always try to, help them with that. But it's hard because there's always some kind of contradictory,
Right.
when it comes to the au naturel.
Right.
So I know our time is getting cut a little short here,
okay.
but I know you're living on the West Coast now. How do you like living on the West Coast versus the East Coast?
Oh, it's heavenly. It was the best decision I ever made, moving from Chinatown, Mulberry Street in New York City to Santa Monica. Excuse me. It's not for everybody, but I've always had a pull towards the ocean, and I love being close to it, and I don't take it for granted. I go down there at least 4 or 5 times a week. Even if I'm not running or jogging, I'll just go walk down to the water and back. I ride my bike as much as I can, and then sometimes I go hike in the mountains, and all of that outdoor living and activity just feeds my soul, and it just makes me very happy.
I totally get that, because I know moving from New York over to Tampa, and, I'm on a lake. It's so peaceful. I have the sunrise in front of me in the morning, and I just sit on the balcony and I meditate, and it's a world of difference when you don't have that chaos around you, and even just the noise and all of those sounds that you hear in the city that I couldn't remember people's names for the life of me. And then I moved out here, and all of a sudden I was remembering people's names, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And then I realized it was probably all of that, all of the trains and the this and the sounds and the fire engines and the ambulance going through that really, make your mind shift, and you don't really get to concentrate and really get in there like you can when it's quiet and it's peaceful and you can actually hear yourself think.
Right.
That's awesome. Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Are you married?
I literally just got engaged 2 weekends ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you were in the dating scene, did you find men that, did they find you intimidating knowing that you can kick their butt if needed?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Well, you have a fiance, so I guess he figures it's safe.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's amazing. When are you getting married?
I don't know. The earliest would be this coming fall, but we're, I don't know. I don't know what the rush is.
I hear you. I was engaged twice, and once was for 10 years, and the other one was for 9 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I decided, to hold off on going down the aisle, but I thought, the engagement was like a really good commitment, so I thought, all right, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I love you, but that's where I'm going to stop.
Right.
So as an entrepreneur, do you have a team of people? I mean, or did you start out as a solo entrepreneur? And, how did you find time to accomplish it all?
I'm still finding time. I'm still trying to accomplish it all. I'm still working on my own. I hire people here and there when I really need, there's things I can't do myself. I wish I had a team of people. I'm just not there yet. I'm still trying to figure it all out. I've been working for myself for over 12 years now, and it's not easy, as you probably know, but it's worth it.
I hear you. It is worth it, and it is. And I always say, don't give up the fight, because people give up too quickly, and I find that, your success could be right around the corner, and if you give up, you'll never know. And I've had a lot of failures in businesses and stuff, but I'm like, just pick myself up, dust myself off, and keep going, because then it's not been the right thing or the right time. What is your favorite social media platform? Do you use social media as well?
Yes, I absolutely do. And I'm on pretty much all of it except Pinterest. I mean, I'm on Pinterest, but I don't really use it. I love Instagram, and Facebook would probably be my two favorites.
Cool. And what's next in store for you?
I'm speaking around the country at college campuses. I teach women all around how to be safe and teach self-defense. I still have private client, one-on-one clients for nutrition coaching. And I am creating an online but telecoaching group for, group telecoaching program. I still got to get the words down, but yes. And that I'm really excited to launch. That should be ready in the next couple of weeks. And I just want to be able to work with and connect with people all around the country instead of just, one-on-one in person. So that I am really excited to get going, and it's called 6 Weeks to Strong, Safe, and Sexy. So look out for that. Thank you.
I will. And so in 4 words, how would you describe your life today?
4 words. Empowering, strong, safe, and sexy.
I love it. Right on target. Okay. Well, Jennifer, tell me, if our listeners want to follow you and keep up with you, how can they find you?
My website is the easiest. It's jennifercassetta.com. On social media, I'm either Jennifer Cassetta or Jen Cassetta, 2 N's, 2 S's, 2 T's. And, that's pretty much it. You can, you can email me through my website, jennifercassetta.com. All the info is there and all the links to my social media platforms.
Awesome. Your wisdom and your tips have been invaluable, and I'm sure it's been eye-opening to those listening today. And thank you so much again for joining us, and hopefully we can get you back on the show another time in the future.
I would love that.
That would be awesome. And I will definitely put your links up to all of your fabulous resources in the show notes so that our listeners can find you and find those products if they're interested in getting them. And again, I hope we'll be able to bring you back. And in summary, you can become a part of the solution to sexual assault by offering some of the following support. Remember to stay calm and listen. Talk to children about healthy sexual development. If you see something inappropriate, intervene and say something. And talk to someone from your local sexual center for more information. I will also put up some resources from the NSVRC. And until the next time, stay safe, strong, and sexy. And we'll see you on the flip side. Namaste.
If you like what you hear, tell someone. If you like what you hear, be a dear and pass it on. Don't forget to stop at our website, www.lifenecessitiesandluxuries.com, for more tips, tricks, tutorials to live a very necessary and luxurious life.